Saudi Arabia, exciting indeed. Let's break down the weekend in detail and be sure to comment your thoughts. Saudi Arabia is well known for its rich oil resource and Arabian horses. The Jeddah Corniche circuit was open for racing back in December 2021 and features a 6-kilometer long track with 27 turns and boasts to be the fastest street circuit on the F1 calendar with not 2 but 3 DRS zones and in an anti-clockwise direction. The track certainly suits the Williams car. It likes the high-speed straights and corners. Carlos at one point seen the second fastest time next to George in FP1. The Mercs look quick also in FP1. Meanwhile, Yuki continued to struggle with the Red Bull, which is being described as a knife-edge type of car where pushing to the limit can be very unforgiving. Can we talk about Pierre Gasly and topping the times in FP1 with Lando 7 thousandths of a second behind? That was quite a lot from him, totally dominating against Jack Doohan and being only 10 centimeters from the wall. Talk about cutting it close. Carlos Sainz going at it with his engineer, saying leave him and he will get it done. I felt he was a bit aggressive towards the engineer, simply saying not to recharge the battery. Interesting indeed as they continue to build their relationship at Williams. Tough for Gabriel Bortoleto with a fuel leak discovered after FP1, resulting in him missing FP2 altogether. I think they need to widen the pit lane at Jeddah. The cars literally don't have enough turning luck to make the turn, resulting in drivers having to either engage reverse or get assistance from the pit crew. They claim it will be widened by the next race meet in 2026. Why hasn't this been addressed sooner? The track was open since 2021. Do you agree? Comment below. Lance Stroll with a rear wheel lockup and managing to avoid the walls, unlike last year when he hit the wall in FP1. Did you guys also see Alex Albon avoid that Ferrari in FP2? That was excellent reaction skills. The closing speeds of the cars are so fast that could have been a very bad accident, certainly ending both the drivers' practice session. Red flag with 7 minutes left in FP2 and unfortunately it was for Yuki Tsunoda. Unfortunate to see given he was progressing in the car from the last few races. Contact with the inside wall on the last corner. The team certainly has their work cut out for them, no doubt, to make it into FP3. Time continued to run down in practice as a red flag doesn't stop the clock, not like in qualifying. In FP3, we saw Hajar with an issue with his drink system. This has been a complaint from the drivers more and more in recent times. We saw Oscar complain about his drink system in FP1. Charles had a flooded seat in his Ferrari in one of the prior races. Why can't this be fixed? What's the issue? Let us know in the comments below. Very close one between Charles and Alex Albon in the last part of the FP3 session. I'm not sure Alex could have done much either. Almost hitting the wall to stay out of the way of the Ferrari. I think we need a better system to tell cars and drivers like when they are coming up to each other. The McLarens were certainly dominating this FP4 session, setting the fastest times on track, which should see them on top for qualifying. Or will it? Now let's talk about the quali, a very exciting event indeed. First time seeing a tire blanket wanting to go on track, Pierre Gasly leaving his pit area and the blanket on the front right was somehow still attached, luckily not damaging anything. Bortoleto continues to struggle this weekend as he lost it in the S-turns, almost hitting the wall and will start in last place. Alex Albon got lucky after hitting the wall pretty hard in turn 16. I really don't know how that didn't break the front axle or the suspension, but kept him in the qualifying session nonetheless. Good to see Ocon giving support for Ali Bearman despite himself being knocked out of Q1 and starting in 19th. The type of encouragement I think Bearman needs. Stroll, Doohan, Bortoleto and Hülkenberg were also out in Q1. A surprise for Doohan as he was showing some strong pace in practice. Surprised to see Alex Albon out of Q2 but so close with only 7 milliseconds between Hamilton and Albon. Lawson, Alonso, Hajar and Bearman round out the other eliminations. Yuki into Q3, that's a good way to see him, so they can try to possibly compete heavily with McLaren with the two bulls in the top of the pack. And now the top 10. Lando bringing out the red flag, tough one for McLaren. The walls are so close and unforgiving on this track. He rides the curb and then sliding into the walls, damaging the front left suspension. Medical car deployed due to the impact being more than about 25 Gs. So a huge impact there. Glad to see he was okay. and I'm sure the camera footage doesn't do the impact any justice to really see what these drivers experience in a crash like that. Really great effort from George Russell finishing P3 with Oscar ahead in P2, and the legend himself Max Verstappen getting pole position by 1/100th of a second. Simply lovely that. That was the radio message after the session, and setting a new lap record, which was expected with these newer, faster cars. Now, let's jump into the race. Max off track in the first turn, and Oscar having a great start to make it to the first corner. Of course, Oscar is on the radio saying Max needs to give back the position, and of course, you guessed it, what do you think Max said? He forced me off the track. But who was in the right, Max or Oscar? Your thoughts? Comment below. The result was a 5-second time penalty for Max. Should that have been a swap rather than a time penalty? Share your opinion below. We'll get into that more in a bit. Unfortunate for Pierre Gasly with the collision with Yuki, seeing him retire from the race. And then although Yuki got going again, he eventually pitted and the damage was too severe to continue, and he was then out of the race. Brought out the safety car on the very first lap. Such an unforgiving track. No runoff area, but instead some serious consequences for touching the walls or getting contact with another driver. Some good battles between Lewis and Lando, swapping position twice on a few laps. Lewis certainly using his prior experience with Max from 2021 to overtake Lando again, but Lando finally making it stick by following Lewis into the last corner. McLaren pitting Oscar early to try and cover off Max, especially with the time penalty of 5 seconds for Max. Max served his 5-second penalty on lap 22 and came out behind Oscar after the pit stop. Max pushed very hard to try and make up the time for the penalty, but it wasn't enough to keep him ahead of Oscar, re-entering the track. Max had DRS on Lewis quickly by lap 23, impressive speed to get right up to the back of Hamilton. Max lost a lot of time being behind the Ferrari. Finally, Hamilton pitted so Max can chase after Oscar with both drivers on the hard, which seemed to be the tyre of choice despite that tyre having little to no track time this practice session over the weekend. Alonso, being the manager of Bortoleto, got hit by Gabriel on lap 25, which could have ended the race for either driver. Should be an interesting management meeting. Alonso on the radio saying that was a very close one. Would have been awkward for Gabriel taking your manager out of the race. Very harsh penalty for Lawson in my opinion. A 10-second penalty for quote-unquote leaving the track and gaining an advantage when passing Jack Doohan. I thought he kept it within track limits for that turn. What do you think? Was that fair? Interesting observation from Piastri on lap 39, noticing a flashing red light on a balcony in turn 10, saying it was confusing him as it looks like a red flag alert for the track. So someone would have to contact the owners and ask them to turn the light off, I guess. First time seeing something like that. What other weird things have you noticed in F1? Share your story in the comments below. Very nice teamwork from Williams. Sainz giving Albon the tow with DRS, but Hadjar did well to stay with them and put pressure on them. Williams chasing the points for being in the top 10 with both drivers. Good point haul as well for the Williams team with the Constructors' Championship. This one was a bit touch and go. Lando almost got a 5-second penalty for crossing the line at the pit exit, but he got away with it since he didn't actually cross the line but barely had his tyre on it. A very close one indeed, and I'm sure McLaren is glad that they didn't get the penalty. Mega effort from Lando to try and overtake Charles in the Ferrari. That Ferrari just had too much pace for the McLaren this race. Well done by Charles. Now the question I have is whether Max should have given back the position and then be able to take the win. Your comments below. Or take the 5-second penalty. Interesting. The results, Oscar winning the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and also lead the Drivers' Championship. Max with second after the 5-second penalty, a good effort from him. Ferrari with a podium for Charles, well deserved for sure. McLaren's first win in Jeddah and not from pole position as well. Share your thoughts on the race and let me know who you would have given the driver of the day. It was given to Max with people voting online, but for me, I would have given it to Charles after finding amazing pace, but that would be my pick. How about you? Comment below. Max with a super short interview, which is very unlike him for the post-race interviews. Clearly upset at the steward's decision for the 5-second penalty. Basically said he looks forward to Miami and that was it. Speaking of Miami, next up is the Miami GP, another street track held at the Hard Rock Stadium. In the past, Max has performed very well at this track. I think he likes it. Not sure he has the car to take the victory though again at this track against the likes of Oscar and Lando. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. That's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to check out our other episodes of Let's Talk F1. Share your comments below, join the discussion, and consider hitting that subscribe button to the channel. That surely helps us out a lot. Also, check out our merch at ModzCity.com as we feature some F1 inspired merch as well. Plus, new merch is out right now. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this is Let's Talk F1.